I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the AfterBuzz TV after show for Brews Brothers on Netflix. I am joined by my co-host Eric Jewell and Allyssa Dickert. How are you both doing?
Pretty good. Very excited about these two episodes.
Wonderful. So my name is Loren Kling, and we are going to we're going to talk about episodes 3 and 4. Then we'll get to some news and special segment. Let's start with episode 3, which is called Taste of Van Nuys. And I want to talk about Van Nuys. If you had not joined us on our episode 1 and 2 recap, Van Nuys is, let's just say, it's shat upon. It's an actual town here in Southern California. It's the home of the Budweiser Brewery and where this guy here was born. On Loren Street, apparently my parents were lazy or high. Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. That's kind of cool though.
Kind of cool when you're except your mom denies that you were named after the street you live on. But anyway, Van Nuys is made fun of a lot. They call it the home of car dealerships, pawn shops, porno shops, and full release massage parlors. Now I got to ask, well, both of you, we'll start with Eric. Do you know Van Nuys? Have you been to Van Nuys? Have you experienced Van Nuys?
I'm not too familiar with it. I've only been out here for a little less than 2 years at this point. But from what I know, I'm like, yeah, Van Nuys, it's fine. There's nothing super standout to me about Van Nuys so far.
The fact that you've been here for 2 years and really don't know anything about Van Nuys says a lot. How about you, Allyssa?
Yeah, pretty much summarizes that.
Well, besides that little description that you gave, I know that there's an airport in Van Nuys. I know it's not a big one, but isn't there a Van Nuys airport? But
Yes.
being born in Van Nuys, Lauren, I want to ask you your thoughts about the area, since you probably know it better than both of us.
Well, when I was born, it goes back far enough when there were a lot more fruit and vegetable fields in the San Fernando Valley as compared to now. So I only remember a couple images of being in the home, but I know that we were on a cul-de-sac that basically ended at one of those fields. So my brother and I could go out and walk around these farms, which are unheard of here in the Los Angeles area. You know, I've been in Van Nuys a lot. I've gone through Van Nuys. I've been at the Van Nuys airport. It's the busiest non-commercial airport in the United States, or has been. It's got a storied history going back to World War II. But this isn't a show about that. This is a show about beer. And here's how I'm going to tie Van Nuys Airport to beer. Right off the airport, there's a place called the 94th Aero Squadron. They kind of have a World War I motif where you can sit there, listen to the tower while you're drinking beers.
Oh, wow. That's
that's so
awesome.
cool.
I didn't even know that.
Right? I'm trying to make Van Nuys sound a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes me kind of want to go there when we
That's
can.
so
But at
interesting,
this point, I'll go to any bar or brewery or establishment.
Yeah. So last time we talked about some of our favorite bars. Later on, I think in special segment, we're going to talk about some of our favorite bars ever, and I can't wait to talk about that. But let's talk about the show. The guys go to Angel City Brewery, and which is here in downtown Los Angeles, an amazing place. And basically they're jealous of how successful and crowded Angel City Brewery is. Allyssa, have you been there? And have you been there?
Yeah, I have. I have been to Angel City Brewery. It's been a while. I just recently moved back to Los Angeles, so I haven't been there since I've been back. Now probably won't be able to go for a while, but it is a great brewery, and I feel that going there, that's definitely the vibe that I think Chewy, Sarah, and Will kind of all want for Rodman's brewery. So it's a perfect place for them to kind of, go and get ideas. And then that kind of changes when Adam shows up.
Of course, Adam. Eric, what is it about a crowded bar different than a bar that's completely dead?
I think it just brings a different type of life to a place where their bar, like for Will, it's got nice open area. It's got like nice sunlight and everything. It looks like it would be a good place just because there's no one there. There's no energy for it. Whereas with Angel City Brewery, anytime I'm there, it's super crowded. So naturally, there's a ton of people. There's going to be tons of energy. Everyone's going to be having a good time. So when there's more people there, it just naturally brings up the energy that everybody brings to the party with themselves.
Yeah. Sarah brought up a point when Adam started pissing on a customer that was there about the formaldehyde that was forming in her beer. She asked him, hold on, where to go? Are you only happy if everyone is
What else?
unhappy? What is up? What is up his ass? What is up Adam's ass?
I think that just because Adam's vision is just so different, and he takes the only breweries that I've been to have been more like an Angel City, where it's like a fun place with games and a lot of people. But the type of brewery that Adam wants is something that I would consider more of like a winery, where people go to sniff and taste and smell. So the beer. So I just feel like anything that looks like people are partying and have a good time, it's disrespectful to the product, I feel.
Yeah. That's an amazing comparison. I never thought about it, but that's perfect. Kind of like a high-end snooty wine bar. Eric, so Sarah realizes the reason why they're busy is because of a party bus. Have you ever done a party bus experience?
No, I have not. But just from this one episode, seeing how happy all of those people were just getting off to go to another brewery, I'm like, why have I not done this before? Like, it just seems like such a fun time, just going from bar to bar, brewery to brewery, just getting new experiences like that. I feel like that would be a great time.
I've actually done the LA beer hop. I think there's something similar to it, and unless it's the real one. Because if it is, I have done one that went to like Golden Road Brewery and a couple others, and it's really fun. So you definitely should try that, Eric.
Now, did you find yourself, Allyssa, drinking more because you didn't have to drive or worry about getting a lift?
They give you like an amount of free drinks that you can get per bar. So I guess so, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of a party bus, is to have fun the whole time, right?
Yeah, I get it. I have never done the party bus. I've sometimes wanted to try the one where everyone's bicycling. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
yeah.
I really want to try those too.
So I just want to let everyone else that's watching us, thank you for watching AfterBuzz. We are the ESPN of TV talk, and we really want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories about going out with your friends, drinking your favorite bars. So if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, leave a comment down below. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you have any questions or insight into these shows about any of the characters. If you're listening to us on iTunes or your favorite podcast app, give us a nice review and let us know. And also at the end of the show, we'll give you our social so you can reach out to us and see pictures of us at home with my cats, or, either of you, if you have anything to share. The penis diagram.
Oh my goodness.
So Sarah blackmailed the guys into making her a manager. And we talked from the last episode how she seems to be the strength of this episode, the most normal of the group. Yet right out of the gate, Allyssa, she doesn't get any respect. Do you think it was fair for her to be treated like that?
I guess no, I am a girl, but girl power. So I think that she's tough though. And I think that they try to get in when they can with her, as far as, making fun, but she takes the joke as well, when she started writing the diagram, and they realize that she is kind of the brains behind the operation, because after that diagram, Chewy was getting to work, people were getting stuff done, and it was kind of a little more organized than it was beforehand. So, and I love how Adam was the one that wanted to keep the penis diagram there. Like, we're not erasing this.
Yes. How about you, Eric? Do you think Sarah's gonna ever be respected in the way that she manager?
I would like to think so. I think the guys are just a bit too immature to realize how smart she actually is. So I'm really hoping that in future episodes, she is able to show more that she is more of the brains than the other three of them combined.
Yeah. something else that was just amazing as that to me was Chewy kind of mentions that he wrote a novel and that somebody says it's one of 19 side hustles. I feel like Chewy is going to be the character on the shows that turns out won the lottery, a millionaire, but does whatever it is he's doing for fun.
Yeah, he's
like
just doing this to keep busy.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
like a
just-
life coach too, and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
Good character.
it's fun to be able to kind of pull out what these people are behind their stupidity.
Yeah.
You know, Sarah becoming the brains and Chewy becoming the life coach somehow. I'm sure we've all had friends who, oh, see, now I'm thinking about the friends I have who some become smarter when they drink and
Yeah.
some become, Eric, what would be some kind words you would say to friends who become not so smart as they drink?
It's a good question.
Irresponsible.
Yeah, irresponsible. We'll go with
Yeah.
irresponsible.
Yes. So today happens to be the first day of what would have been WonderCon, you know, a very popular convention, comic convention in Anaheim. And this would have been the day where our friends would have gotten together to go walk the floor for an hour and spend the rest of the day and the night drinking beers and getting stupid. I think, you know, I think drinking beer and just hanging out with friends is one of the greatest things, and what a great way to meet.
Yeah.
What a great way to meet people. I want to give a shout out to man.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
His
we haven't
name-
talk about him yet.
His name is Homeless Man. He doesn't even have an actual
He
name.
doesn't have a
as
full
of yet.
name.
He's
Aw.
the reason why I love him. He's played by character actor Toby Huss, who was in one of my favorite TV series, *Halt and Catch Fire* on AMC. You guys
Aw.
have any comments? He seems to be the brains of his operation. Any thoughts about why do they create this homeless point of having that character?
I'm not really sure if he's going to end up having a big role in this whole show. I kind of just like the fact that he's a little side bit that we see every so often.
Mhm.
Like when he was going to the bathroom right outside of the bar in the first few episodes, and in this one he just pops up out of the dumpster. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love that he just comes in for those little bits, because it's the part of the episode that I remember most, just the shock of seeing him doing whatever he's going to be doing.
Yeah, kind of like the two food truck people, kind of
Yes.
Mhm.
just silly randomness.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you kind of forget about him, and then all of a sudden he's there again.
Yeah. So, but the big point of the show was the bus tour. Sarah realizes that, hey, there's a lot of people coming to Angel City Brewery
Mhm.
to be dropped off from this bus tour. So how do we get them at the brewery? Alyssa, did you think that she thought it out more so than besides talking the woman who drives the bus into coming there? You think she Sarah fully thought out what the plan was?
I think it was more so she's thinking dollar signs and how to make the brewery profitable. So I think initially she was just like, we just got to get people here. She wasn't thinking about how anyone else would take it. I know that Will and Chewy were on board, but like I mentioned earlier, Adam took it in his own hands and tried to buzzkill it a little bit. So I don't think she thought all that through, like thought about like what Adam might do and that sort of thing. But overall, I think it was a good idea to get some customers in the door.
Yeah. For you, Eric, Adam's trying to teach people this multi-part thing. Do you have any friends, Eric, who try to talk up beer like they know everything about it?
Yes, I do. There's a handful of people that anytime I'll go out with them, I'll just get a simple like $5 drink, like a Corona, and they'll order like a $12 like craft beer, and they'll try and explain to me every difference between every single molecule. And I was just like, I don't
I
care.
don't care.
Like I'm here just to drink and hang out with you guys. I don't need a full lesson on the
Yeah.
history and how I'd be drinking this.
Yeah,
Next time you should just you should just yell back at him, Cicerone.
Eric, if I remember from the last episode, you mentioned you went to a bar. You loved a bar because it was what, 5 beers for $15?
5 beers for $15.
Okay, so
Dang.
you're not a connoisseur of high-end beers.
No, give me
What-
the cheapest one on the menu.
no matter what it is. There aren't some where you're like, I won't even go there.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm just like, give me a cheap beer and I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me.
Ah, it's hurting me inside.
So,
All right.
Loren, are you the one who goes to the bar to give the lessons to everyone?
No. I'm the one that goes to the bar that says, I hate IPAs. Just give me a Pils or a stout and leave me alone.
Yep.
And who can still only drink two. I go for the 5%ers. I'm not the snooty one that goes for the 8 and 12%, the double box. I go for the 5%ers. I can have 2 pints and I'm done. So I'm a cheap date. All right, for you, Allyssa, what's your realm of beer drinking? If it's beer.
I actually do enjoy IPAs and wheat beers probably mostly, and a few sours. So, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a beer snob, but if I had a choice, I'd probably order a craft beer over like a Bud Light or something. Not that I don't like those, because there's a time and a place, and I like beer, but
I gotta say that the first time I ever had a PBR on tap, I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I was genuinely, it was a hipster bar, but it was fine. It was totally fine. All right. So, getting back to this bus tour, everyone comes in, they're having fun. The bus is stolen. And so people are kind of stuck there. And what I wanted to end off this episode with is, it seems like everyone's becoming comfortable with ragging on Adam.
Yeah, I do really like that, because it seemed a lot more in the first 2 episodes that Adam was the one really dishing out all the insults, and he was the one who was more just by himself, but he seemed to be ganging up on everyone else. So I really like the reverse in this episode, and especially the next episode, where everyone's like, no, Adam, you're the idiot. We're going to do this our way. It's 3 versus 1 right now. You are clearly outnumbered.
Yeah. It kind of feels, Allyssa, like with your friends, you've got the ones that talk things up a lot, and then after a while you're comfortable enough where you're gonna be like, shut up.
yeah. The success of the brewery, they all need to come to some compromise, or else they're just going to keep adding more and more problems.
Well, the point of a TV series going on is never to compromise, to never find a solution.
That is true.
So as much as we would love a solution to be had, a solution will not.
No.
So that is episode 3. Let's talk about episode 4, called Monk Monday.
I love this episode.
Either of you want to talk about Adam again?
I just love the first opening lines of this, where he comes in wearing the Burger King crown. He goes, I'm BK. And Will's like, oh yeah, Buzzkill. I was like, perfect. This, again, it sets up their dynamic together so well. Just that they're just going to cut each other down the first chance either of them gets to.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he comes with this beer with truffle that is amazing and they all like, but they can't afford it. Or they need a way. They're like, we can't mass produce this because it's going to cost too much money. So.
Right. But what's interesting is Adam is living in the brewery. There's a couple of times. There's a couple times we've seen, not a lot, where Adam maybe shows a softer side, whether he wants to or not.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning when he talked about getting kicked out of Portland, Oregon, but here, when he's having to live in the brewery, Adam is a fuck up.
Yeah.
It definitely shows that he's more flexible than he leads on to be, with how much of a beer snob he is. I think it shows that he doesn't care if he sleeps in a brewery and doesn't have his own place and that sort of thing.
Or if someone just walks in on him in the shower.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, that part too.
So we've got in this episode Monk Monday, and was that Sarah again who came up with the idea? I'm trying to remember if that was Sarah or not. They're going to turn the pub into a place where people dress as friars, because Will's old Belgian monk friends are arriving to bless the brewery.
I think it was actually who told him to try and get them to come over, if I'm remembering right.
And they were visiting anyway.
Yeah.
They were visiting LA anyway, and then they were going to bring the special ingredient truffle for Adam to continue making his beer.
That's right. They were going to give a gift. They were going to bless the brewery and give a gift of of truffles. So we assume that monks that make beer and people that wine wine are stuffy and stuck up and don't have any fun. At least to me, that's what I think about when I think of kind of the basic beers, the Bud Lights and the Heinekens and stuff. Whereas like the higher end brews, we think of craftsmen. You know, craft beers are made by craftsmen.
Yeah.
But the cheap beers that Eric drinks are made by you know, high school dropouts in Pomona, which is not far from Van Nuys. So yeah, so if anyone wants to talk about the monks arriving and what actually happens, how Adam gets initiated into this ritual that takes place.
I thought it was so funny when they actually show up. It just seems as if they're going to be like the normal monks. They're just going to like pray a little bit, bless the brewery, and then just suddenly it turns into they just want to get so drunk that it seems as though these monks live to get drunk every night. And I was just like, I'm here for this. I am loving watching these monks just get trashed right now.
Yeah.
So far, I think this is my favorite episode just because it was just like one big party. It kind of reminded me of Beer Fest a little bit, the movie, just everyone just raging and drinking straight from the tap and going crazy.
You know what? We should do that for one of our special segments. Talk about some of the great beer drinking movies that have been out. We'll have to talk about that. So what I loved the most was the way in which Adam got initiated. There was that old, what was it, 14th century beer?
17th century
beer paddle. Thank you, Alyssa, for correcting me. Oh my God.
I wrote it down because I was like, this is just crazy.
That's going to come up.
But then it becomes, oh my God. Then it becomes a beer shoot out of one of the monks' ass.
Yep.
If either of you were at a bar and they had monks and you had the opportunity to drink beer by having beer poured down somebody's ass into a tube, would you do it? And for how much?
I think I would leave the bar. I don't really know if there's a number for how much I could do that for.
I could, I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't.
Would we stay to watch friends do it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would watch all of my friends do that.
Throw money in on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I think we've got some great ideas to do after the quarantine is over and we can all meet up again. But I am volunteering to do that. So we've got the monks. The monks fight the fake monks. They were actors hired.
Yes.
So, and then we have Sarah come in and basically save the day. Sarah, who's allergic to cats, arrives. She's called Quasimodo. And again, saves the day. What do we think about Sarah every episode, basically coming in to rescue the guys, that rescue things that have gotten out of control?
Yeah, that seems to be her job so far. And so far, I'm okay with that. I do want to see her expand and do a bit more. And I would like the guys to include her more with some other things. Because, yeah, you're right. So far, it's just seemed like every episode she's come in to be the problem solver for the problems that the guys inevitably have been the ones causing the problems.
Yeah.
She did cause her own little problem with bringing back the wrong dog. So she's not perfect, but she definitely, like we've been saying, is the voice of reason and saves the day. What I noticed about the fight before Sarah showed up was there was just a little glimmer of brotherly love between Will and Adam, because Will was like trying to protect him, but then he ended up just like knocking him out by accident. So I was like, wow, they actually do care about each other a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely love there. And I'm sure with the both of you, as much as you might have tortured your younger siblings, there's still love and respect. Eric is still denying
What?
anything.
Never done anything to my
I think
brothers.
I found a new special segment just to get Eric to deny everything he's ever done.
2 truths and a lie about what he's done to his
Oh, boy.
siblings. We get to play.
All right. So, any other final thoughts about this episode 4, the monk episode?
This had my favorite line of the whole show so far. It
Mhm.
was right when the fight scene started happening, and they do a quick shot of 2 of the actors just turn to each other and they go, "It's an action movie." And then they just go full on into the fight. And I was like, that's it. Yep. This is the best line of the show so far.
Yeah.
I definitely think that this episode's just like setting the momentum, being like, okay, it's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. And I'm excited to see where this goes if they can get into this craziness.
Yeah, this is a fun show. All right,
Yep.
so let's move on to news with Allyssa.
Yeah, so Sarah, we've talked about Sarah a lot. Personal life, it looks like she's quarantining with her parents and showing them how to be hip. She posted this video on her Instagram today with the caption, "Teaching old dogs new tricks." So her mom uses hella in a sentence. Her dad uses keep it 100. She tells them what lit means. And then she goes up to her dad and be like, "Hey, want to get lit right now?" And then her dad goes, "Bro, you cray, I'm cash right now." So she's like,
Oh my God.
she's like teaching them all this like hip lingo. So I guess when they go out into the world again, they can know how to talk to the youngsters, I guess. So I thought that was kind of funny and shows her personality, outside of Sarah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you happen to have Sarah's Instagram account name?
Let me look it up really fast.
Yeah.
I think it's just at Carmen Flood. And Carmen,
Okay.
CarmenFlood.
Okay.
I don't think she's not verified yet, though. I don't think.
Ooh, see. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much for that
Yeah.
news. Let's move on to special segments with Eric.
Yeah, so since this episode 3, opened up at the Angel City Brewery, we saw some people playing games like Cornhole in the background. And then episode 4 opens with our crew playing a giant game of Jenga. So I was wondering for you guys, what are your favorite places to actually drink at? And do you guys have a definitive like drinking game, whether it be like a day drinking or like a night drinking?
It's a good one. I can go first.
Go ahead.
My favorite bar is called Tony's on the Pier. It's called the Crow's Nest. It's a local spot in Redondo Beach where I grew up. And the reason why I love it is because it's super small. It's a 360 view of the ocean. And they serve what are called fire chiefs, which is a Mai Tai with a 151 floater. They always have just like a single guitarist that plays at night. And there's no games or anything, but it's just like a quaint spot. And you get to keep the glass afterwards. So you can get a ton of cool like Tony's on the Pier mugs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But my favorite drinking game of all time is Flip Cup. Probably because I'm really good at it.
What about you, Loren?
All right. So I went to college in San Diego. So my 2 favorite places to go, one of them is Bali High. It's on the water. And Allyssa, you reminded me, it's got a beautiful view and it's like a tiki Polynesian restaurant.
Mhm.
And Mai Tais that'll kick your butt. I believe they limit you to 2 because one will do a number. My absolute favorite bar of all time is in the Gaslamp district of San Diego called The Field. It's an Irish pub. Whereas most Irish pubs are basically sports bars that have a little bit of green, this one is authentic. They actually took everything inside the glass and the figurines and things on the walls from Ireland, and the food is amazing. The drinks, I almost tear up thinking about how much I love The Field. My favorite thing to do at a bar is to host trivia. I think I mentioned.
Yeah,
Another
awesome.
episode.
That's great.
So I'm going to give a shout out to all my friends who play or host at Geeks Who Drink. It's a US wide company, and I do Tuesday nights at the Verdugo bar, and I think it's fun because I kind of suck at trivia by myself, but I'm a great trivia host. And it's just so much fun to get to know all the people there. Again, it's a very social kind of thing.
I've
Eric,
never
what
been
about
good
you?
at trivia.
Yeah, so my favorite bar is a bar back in Philadelphia. It's an old college bar. It's called the Draft Horse. Every single night there was a different special. Wednesdays, They did 50-cent Bud Lights. They'd give you a small solo cup and they'd fill it up for 50 cents, and it was great. But the definitive best drinking game is cornhole. There's no better game to play during the day than just having a fun game of cornhole while you're drinking with people.
I do like cornhole. It's a fun game.
Yeah. Now there's
Now
one
I
more.
want to go to a bar.
I know. There's one more game my wife loves to play called Liar's Dice. Have you guys played that?
I haven't heard of that.
I have not.
Liar's Dice, real quick, is basically everyone gets like 11 or 12 dice and a cup, and you shake it up and you hold it, and you don't tell anyone. You basically you're upping the ante. I have 4 4s or 5 6s, and basically you lose.
I think I played this.
And what's hard for me is I don't like the game, and especially when drinking comes into play, I hate it even more because I just can't think straight.
That tends to happen.
So, all right. So thank you very much, Eric, for the special segment. Before we go, where can we find you, Allyssa? We'll start with you, Allyssa.
Yeah, you can just find me at Allyssa, Allyssa Dickert, Dickert, on Instagram and Twitter.
Perfect. How about you, Eric?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at Eric Jewell 11. Tweet me your thoughts on whatever episode you're watching right now. Or what are your favorite drinking games?
Awesome. And you can find me and give me a shout out on Instagram at Loren Kling, LorenKling. Also doing Monday nights Better Call Saul. Oh my gosh. From everybody at AfterBuzz TV, thank you so much for joining us. And for all you fans out there, please give us a thumbs up on the YouTube video. Share your comments. Let us know what beer games you like, what your favorite drink is, whether it's beer or not. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or your favorite podcast, player, give us a shout out. Again, give us a thumbs up, 5 stars, or 20 raspberries. I don't know, whatever form of giving us the most awesomeness of whatever it is. We appreciate it. AfterBuzz is the ESPN of TV talk, and we thank you for watching us. We're going to be back at 6 o'clock for episodes 5 and 6 recap. We're basically watching the entire season in one day.
Yep.
This is insane. All right, from everybody at AfterBuzz, thank you, Allyssa and Eric. We'll see you at 6 o'clock. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.